You put me on this platform to tell the truth. Speak to me when I be speaking to the youth.
There are 7.99 billion people in the world right now. And for each person, 96% of their efforts towards personal development fail because they never created a habit to work towards their mindset. And a habit becomes easier if you make it easier to access. So by hitting the subscribe button, you'll not only be creating a habit to think better, perform on a higher level, and be more confident, it'll also mean the world to me by helping us make more valuable and life-changing content for the world. Hit the subscribe button. So my man, Blake, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. Feeling humid, but it is what it is. We're in Florida heat.
Definitely. So, like, I usually do like a rapid fire question, just to get the ball rolling. So, favorite food?
Favorite food? Oof, anything seafood related. I love like seafood boils. I love sushi, paella, like any like just big mix of just seafood. That's my favorite.
Okay. So, what's your favorite workout? Because you're athletic, you're holding a MMA belt right there. So
I put up for the camera, you guys can see it. But I mean, to be honest, it's training, jiu-jitsu, like grappling, because it doesn't feel like a workout. It feels like more like just like a full body chest match, So yeah, I'd say that if you want to count it as that, yeah.
Got you. Okay. And then my last question is, what is your go-to song right now?
My go-to song.
Like if you want to get hype, you want to get upbeat, you want to, get that motivation that you need, what is your go-to song?
That's a good question. I'd say Fiend from Travis Scott. Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that. That's good. So with this platform, the goal with this whole environment, we're here to help people think better, perform on a high level, and be more confident, right? And you have you have a lot of belts. So I want to talk to you on your past and back things up a little bit. Did you always see yourself as an MMA? Like, was you one of those people that was working out and fighting since childhood, or did all that start recently?
No, it's very late in life, actually. I got into it about 6 years, going on 6, 2018. So going on 6 years, it was like August of 2018 when I first started with no prior knowledge doing jiu-jitsu. And originally it was like a bucket list item. I was done with my undergrad. I had graduated back in 2017.
Studying what?
A biology major and a minor in chemistry. I was on my way to med school. So I was trying,
Med school? Yeah. Okay. I want to know how it's registered in my mind. From med school and I, of course, taking care of people and tending to them to beating them up. Like, when did the switch happen?
I mean, it never really was a switch. It's always, it's balance in life, So sometimes you gotta care for people, sometimes you gotta check people, It's how it is. But I'd always loved fighting. When I was a kid, I had done taekwondo like from age fourth grade to fifth grade. And my mom put me in as an after school program, and all my senses at the time would want me to compete. They want me to travel with them to go to Orlando and tournaments. Really? My mom was like, "How much?" She's like, "No, we're not doing that." So she don't want me to travel. She don't want me to go abroad. She don't want me to to go out there because I was too young. And so I always had that what if in the back of my head. But since going through high school and then going on to college, I was like, okay, I got to focus on the books. I got to get to medical school. And then so I just kind of put it to the side. But once I was done with my undergrad and I had my break year, out of time, I was like, let me just try it out just to see what it is. I had no intention of competing. I just wanted to learn it just to because I always watch UFC, I always watch competition. So I just wanted to just get a feel for it and not just be a fan, but actually go out there and try out the sport. And so I just did jiu-jitsu. I said just complete grappling jiu-jitsu, and I fell in love with it. I started competing in jiu-jitsu. I started winning a lot in jiu-jitsu. Then I was like, you know what?
Oh, wow. So you started right out the gate?
Right out the gate. Yeah, I mean, not right out the gate. Probably, it was it might have been 4 months, before I had my first competition. And then I had won that. And then there was already kickboxing at my gym. And so I was like, oh, let me try it out. I asked one of the coaches, hey, can I, take a kickboxing match, because someone else is already training for a kickboxing match. And I was watching them train. I was like, oh, this looks pretty cool. I want to get a feel for training for a camp for an actual fight. Yeah. And that was supposed to be a one-off. And I was supposed to be I YOLO'd it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say I did it one time. And then I won. It's 3 months later, I won. And it was terrible. Like, it was the worst fight you would ever watch on TV. It was like just two like just drunk bar people fighting, and I was like, I can't let that be my legacy. I can't let that be like my last time doing this.
I was just doing haymakers, bro.
Like, no, honestly, I only won because the guy got more tired than I did. It was the ugliest fight imaginable, and we were just like leaning on each other, slugging back and forth. Like I didn't even get hurt, to be honest, because like we were that uncoordinated. It wasn't even like I had like, any bruises. It was just the fact of us just like having no technique, just just throwing our bodies at each other. And then I was like, no, I can't let it like that. I have to have like something good to look for social media. So if I want to show somebody I actually fought, I don't want to see this. I want to see something better. So I took another fight. I lost that one, got mad at that. Took another fight, won that one, and then from then on, kind of went on from there. And I had gotten like 4 kickboxing fights for that. Like, I think I want to try MMA. Because like I had already been winning a lot in jiu-jitsu, and and by then in kickboxing I was like 2-2, and I was like, let me just try MMA because I want to like actually use my jiu-jitsu in an actual match, and get it done. And it took me like a year. I couldn't get an MMA fight because people just kept backing out. Because in amateur, like there's no like way for people to stay in for the fight, because there's no money involved. So people can back out at any time. You can agree to fight somebody. You're training for 4 weeks, and then like the fight week comes and they just pull out. Either they can't get called out for work, or they couldn't make weight, or they have some kind of random ass injury, or they're just scared. Regardless of either way, they're not gonna say it, but like they'll just pull out like either the day of, the week of, whatever it is. And so it had happened like multiple times where I tried to get an MMA fight, and it would get changed to kickboxing. So I ended up becoming 6-2 in kickboxing. I had a belt for kickboxing. I didn't even want to get a belt in kickboxing just because like after so many times trying to MMA, and it was getting changed to kickboxing because someone else would also have an opponent that didn't make it. Like someone else's opponent, like backed out, whatever it was. Just paired us up, exactly.
So I wanted to ask you this because you said something that was really impactful. I don't even think you even realized it, where you have all these belts now, you have this record now, and from what I remember, you're number 1 in the state right now, right?
Yeah, number 1 in the state of Florida. Number 1 in the state of Florida, number 3 in the Southeast, and then number 13, I believe, in North America.
God damn.
Yeah.
So damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
For all 145-pound amateur MMA fighters, yeah.
Damn. So tell me this, like you mentioned your mother. You was fighting when you was younger. Mm-hmm. She said no to you traveling, but you had that thought, what if? Most people, when they have that thought and their environment or their mother or whoever is around them that's guiding them or raising them up, they would kind of just forget about that forever and then just fall into being a doctor or fall into doing all that type of stuff. What made you think when you had that downtime after school to decide that? Like, what made you think, hey, you know what, let me pick it back up? Because most people won't even have that thought.
It was, again, I had the free time to try it out. The gym just happened to be like a mile from where I was staying at in Fort Myers. And like the main thing too is like when I was studying, I had a lot of downtime. So I'd study. I don't want to work out, but like working out was just boring, and I'm like, okay, let me just go and train.
Oh, so you was still training? Because I wanted to ask you, because like, what kept it in your mind for that long to then be like, you know what, let me try it now. So your working out was really just training.
Exactly, yeah. Because I already I was a little athletic. I already worked out before, but it was regular gym exercises. And so when I was starting that first class, and I was like, oh, this is like a real workout. I can keep doing this. Like, it'll be like my way to blow off steam. That's originally how I got in. That's originally what I was kind of rationalizing it as, I guess you could say, because at the same time I was studying for my MCATs. I had like taken my MCATs 3 times, and I was trying to get into med school, and so like that was my way to blow off steam, and it was a fun hobby. I had really enjoyed it. I got like sucked into it, but then it came to that realization where it's like I was studying more on how to fight than I wasn't studying on how to be a doctor. like all my YouTube search history, all my stuff, like when it comes to like game planning, everything that was going more on like getting better and trying to like the same way how you just pick up a video game. You it's kind of like repetition, kind of just practice stuff. You practice strategies, practice like whatever's popular in the meta, all that kind of stuff. I was like labbing and planning that out more so than I was my actual studying.
Damn.
And then
that's commitment.
It happened that way, but I am still in the medical field. Like I'm a nuclear medicine technologist now. And so that going into that field gave me the free time where I can do that by day and then train at night, because I can never do that. But if I was fully tried to go, for med school, that's it. That's your life. There's nothing else outside of that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have that same desire. Like after taking my MCAT for the 3rd time, I was like, I don't have the heart for this. Like it's just not for me. Like I didn't feel that same connection, and like that spark that I felt from fighting was like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna actually see what I can do with this. But I want something that can pay the bills. So like, I went to nuclear medicine. I got that done. And even then, even going pro as a fighter, I didn't expect that either. It wasn't until my coaches were gassing me up because honestly, like I had no intention of going pro. I just wanted to see how far I could get with the amateur because I wanted to do it as like a self-sustaining hobby. Because I have friends who do it amateur, but they get flown out, they get free vacations, they get sponsors, you know. So I was like, okay, I can take that route, and I'll just have like free vacations for a little while I'm doing it as a hobby. But the more I started training, the more I started sparring with pros and stuff like that. I'm like, this is an actual thing. Like the more I kept winning, the more I kept getting like belt after belt. I'm like, this is not like it's not just them gassing me up, you know, or else I wouldn't get the belts.
You really got it.
Like, yeah. So I was like, you know, I might actually give this a shot, and then that's when it. Yeah. So this end of this year, I'll be going pro.
So what type of work ethic does it take to do what you do now? Because I can imagine you're working full-time job, but yet you're training and you have a full-time career. Because it's not like you're doing that on the back burner. You're doing that day in, night out. Not day in, day out. Day in, night out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what gives you the drive or motivation to pursue both at the same time?
I mean, it's my outlet. That's the main thing I can describe it as. Like, I don't even see it as a job. Like, sometimes, you know, it gets monotonous when I'm trying to weight cut, when I'm trying to get my weight down to where it needs to be. That's when it becomes a job. But when I'm actually training, when I'm getting better, when I'm like, when there's a move I've been trying to hit for like a month, and then you just finally, it sticks. Like, there's that kind of chasing the dragon of it where it's like I'm just trying to get to like that next little power up, you know. That's what it feels like, and that's what keeps me going. Because again, like as my day job overall, it's work, but I'm not there that long. Like I get paid per day, and so I handle all my patients. When I'm on my patients, like I can leave. I don't have to sit there and like just be done. Like because I do travel nuclear medicine, so I just go to doctor's offices. I do their stress test. Some days I might have like 10 patients, and like that's the whole day. And I have to train like a little bit less. Other days I might only have like 2 or 3 patients, and I'm done. I can go home, nap, go right to the gym. So this job that I have now, and I don't work weekends. I'm not on call. You know, that's the only reason why. Because other than that, I wouldn't be doing it because it's a lot of driving. But because I'm not on call, I'm not working weekends. I have time to train during that time. So it's like it really balances itself out. So
you mentioned it was your outlet. Like outlet for what? Just you mentioned blowing off steam. Did you see yourself like? Granted, because the reason why I'm asking is because I ran track, and I used track as an outlet to not be home because I was going through a lot of things at home, things of that nature. I had a stutter. Once I started to change my environment, that's when my life started changing. My mindset started changing. What was it? What was the outlet that you used it to get away from or to kind of help you cope with? Because some people, I had a powerlifter come on 2 days ago, and he used working out and going to the gym to cope with his older brother committing suicide. So would you say it goes as deep as it for you, or is it just like outlet just to blow off steam for the most part?
I mean, I think so. I think at the time too, again, like getting into med school was hella stressful. I had, my parents, Haitian parents, breathing down my neck because they only want doctor, lawyer, engineer. They don't want anything else. Like they don't see anything else as being fun. It's like, you already know, like you have to have some kind of title attached to it. You can't just have a job. You can't just have, a regular job. You need to have a title attached to your job as a form of status, especially in island culture. That's the only thing they'll accept.
I hate that.
It's they don't see how you can get money other ways, And so like, when I got this, they got off my back.
Really?
Really? Because the whole time they're like, you're wasting your time. You're gonna get a concussion. You're gonna exactly. And then I was 5-0, and then they got quiet, and then all of a sudden now all of a sudden they're typing it on the family WhatsApp. They're trying to show off my belts. They want to see pictures of it. Yeah,
got it, TV, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I know how the switch up is crazy.
The switch up is crazy,
and sometimes people don't realize that, and where it's like they think the people that you have in your environment that you grew up in are supposed to be your supporters.
Exactly.
But those people are supposed to be your fans. Like, you're not supposed to, don't expect monetary compensation. Don't expect for them to do this, do that, motivate you when you're down. Granted, some of them could do that because some people, that's part of the nature. But they're your fans. Like, there's this, I don't know if you agree with this, but there's a saying where it's like strangers will support you more than your environment.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. 100% agree with that. Because again, when I first started, even when I first started competing, I didn't tell anybody. Like I kept it low key.
Why?
Yeah, because you don't want that kind of negativity. Like I was like, I'm just gonna do this on the side and do it for me. and then I'll tell them later. Like, I'll tell them like, when I get more established, because I didn't want any of just like, that constant like, because you know how Haitian parents are, right? Like, they're not gonna let up. They're gonna sit there. They're gonna peep around the corner. They're gonna sit there and just keep being in your ear. So I wanted to have something to show for it first before I actually. So yeah, but I didn't tell my mom about my fight until I was already there. And again, she was screaming. She's like, "What? Wait. Yeah, no, so I was already there. That's when and then after that, then she blew up my phone after it was over. And I was like, yeah, I won. She's like, you won? And then she like,
she's like, yes, I'm proud of you. I always count on you.
Let me tell you how messed up like she was in the head. So when I told her that I won, she's like, what do you mean you won? So what did you win? And I told her, like, no, I got a medal. Like, because only give a medal at the time. I got a medal. She's like, oh, did he get a medal too? She thought it was like a sparring, or like a participation type thing where it's like, two people just go out and like there's no one. She's like, oh, did you both get medals? And I'm like, no, I got a medal. I won my fight. And then that's when she finally understood it wasn't like just some like funsy like whatever.
Like a field day.
Yeah, it wasn't a field. Exactly, it wasn't.
Exactly. It's you competed.
I fought a grown ass man, and I had
Got you. So what happened after that? Like, how did that look like in terms of support, in terms of you taking it to the next level to the point where now you're number one, now you're high ranking in all these other fields?
I mean, I'm sorry, repeat the question one more time.
So given that, she didn't support you then, but now she starts to support you, did that give you the fuel you needed to like push in to being number one and being higher ranking in the other catagories that you're in the different regions, or did you just have that drive yourself?
I think I already had the drive to begin with. Like, I think just overall, I mean, I take that back. I didn't have the drive to be number one. I had the drive to just not be bad. That was the main thing. And Rich actually asked me this question before, where he said what motivates me to keep me fighting, like what motivates me to like want to like beat my opponent. And it's not in the sense of like, oh, like I gotta be number one, or oh, I gotta sit there and like like I'm taking it personally. I gotta like fight this opponent. I gotta beat this guy up because he's trying to like take my family or whatever. Like, no, I don't have any animosity to anybody that I fight. The only thing that's keeping me fighting, to be honest, is to not get embarrassed. Like my own ego won't let me. My own ego won't let me be on anyone else's highlight reel. Like, I don't care if I lose. Yeah. Like, honestly, I don't care if I lose. But if I lose, it's not gonna look like you won.
It's gonna be like to the end, and you get more punches.
Exactly. Like, you're gonna barely win. It's gonna be like tooth and nail. You're gonna be messed up. You're gonna be bruised up. And like it's gonna be by split decision. That's like my two losses by split decision. And even then, it was because it was the guy's home gym. I had a ref who, because it was two refs. I'm sorry, it was judges. There was three judges. One judge from the state of Florida that's sanctioned by the governing body, and then two of the judges were just random people they found. Like, it was one guy was a coach at the gym, and another guy was a random person. And the judge from the state of Florida came back and apologized. He was like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened, bro. I gave you the first 2 rounds. Third round's kind of close, but it's their gym." Like, the guy was fighting at his home gym. There was a gym that was hosting the actual tournament, and so hosting the promotion. So, and they had their guy about to go pro, and so they're like, even though I'd won the first 2 rounds and the third round was close, they're like, they gave it to him by split decision. And I'm like, but it is what it is.
That's crazy.
But again, what's funny though is that at that particular gym, they have their own promotion, their own page, their own like Instagram where they'll promote their fighters, and they'll always try to show little snippets of like highlights from the fights, right? And so when that fight happened, it was like a week later, and they're putting all like knockout of the night, fight of the night, submission of the night. They'll do like little cameos to show off like their talent, right? It was ghost. It was quiet for our fight. They had nothing to show for our fight. They just kind of slipped it under the rug and kept it moving. Like, and I was like, I see what you. I see. So
man, I'm like, they know you won.
They know because it was
So what motivates you? You mentioned that you don't want to get embarrassed. You want to do this, and you're just worrying about getting better. Mm-hmm. How about when you got your first loss? How did you handle that? How did you handle that mentally? Because most people, when they handle losses, it's not good on in most cases. How did you handle your first loss to get to where you're number one? I'm always get to that, but in a different mindset perspective.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I knew it was gonna happen. So even like when I had lost, I was already 5-0. I was already 5-0, and my first 4 fights were all finishes in the first round. So and like my second fight, sorry, my 5th fight that went to the second round. And also, like, again, it wasn't by decision. It was all by either submission or knockout. So none of my fights before then had gone the full distance, right? So when I had that first loss, it was the first time I had gone like the full distance, and I was like, damn, like I got tired because this is my first love. I got tired. I got to train harder. Like I knew it was gonna happen because I kind of felt like that imposter syndrome where it's like, yeah, I'm winning in the first round. I'm winning by knockouts, but at the same time, like these guys aren't guys that are probably gonna be in the UFC. These are all guys that are like at that level right now. And if I'm gonna take it seriously, I have to level up. So I was kind of waiting for that time where I was gonna fight somebody, decent. Because that was my first loss. My first loss, yeah, it was my split decision as well, but it was like that was a legitimate loss. And my second one, that was the BS one. But even then, going in that first loss didn't really hurt me as much because it's like I kind of was expecting it. I was kind of like I was gonna go against top talent, and I kind of wanted to see like where I stood there. But the motivation came from like, okay, then like I almost won. Like that fight, even though I lost, this was against somebody who had been trained since they were a kid, someone who had been doing it for God knows like 10 plus years longer than I have. And I went neck and neck with them. So I'm like, okay, this is actually real now. Like this is not just, just for the fun, just for like posting on social media. This is actual competition. The people who are going to be the next, John Jones one day.
Tank, all these people. So tell me this, did you have those thoughts mid-fight or after the fight? Or
no. Mid-fight, I'm like, I'm just zoned in. I'm trying to win.
Okay, because I was going to say, because like, if you have that perspective that, yeah, I'm going to lose this one, that probably might be the reason why you lost. So that's why I asked that question.
No, mid-fight, I was zoned in. It was afterwards. I was like, but I wasn't complaining about, like, I just got to train harder. Okay. That's all it was. I was trying to think. There was something else I wanted to add on to that.
That's good. That's good. So let me ask you this. Like, so what's the next step now? Like, you're number one, you're high ranking. Like, do you just stay there and defend, your title? Like, what's the next step for you now?
I mean, now it's just going pro because I'm still amateur now. So
you're not pro?
No, I'm amateur, bro. That's something.
Gotcha. Because I'm still understanding fighting. So what would it take for you to go pro?
After going to the regional circuit. So the same way how it's like, you have, I would say, like, comparing it to any other sport, like either football or baseball, like you have a like college team, and then like you have the regional, like the minor leagues, and then you have the major leagues, right? So I'm at right now like between college and like the minor leagues, where it's like, like I'm about to start getting paid for fights, but it's gonna be at a local level, like a regional level. So it's gonna be like, me fighting for Miami promotions, me fighting for maybe an Alabama promotion, maybe a promotion in Georgia, the general Southeast region. I'm going to be traveling and then actually getting paid to fight, but it's still going to be for local promotions. It's not going to, like, some of them do get televised or do get streamed on UFC Fight Pass, which is like the official Fight Pass, and that's going to actually be my fight towards the end of this year, where I might be going to Wisconsin for that.
Oh, man, let me know.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
Let me know.
But that's still going to be amateur, but it's my last amateur fight, and that's going to be on actual UFC Fight Pass. But the going into that, yeah, so after amateur is then like the minor leagues, and after the minor leagues, then that's when you get the call if you're good enough to go to UFC, Bellator, or ONE FC.
Oh, so they call you?
Yeah, you get recruited. Yeah.
Oh, so it's not like something that you can just register for?
No,
or do like gotcha. Because I know it's not like a draft thing. But
yeah, no, they recruit you. It's the same. It's kind of like, it's actually, that's what makes it different than boxing. Because in boxing, you could have like almost no fights and just go and sign up and get your box license, and you're officially boxing. You can go for any promotion. And like if they let you if they put you on the show, they put you on the show. Doesn't matter. You don't need any experience whatsoever. You can just go on there. A lot of people a lot of people will have like the Jake Paulers. You can sign up.
Yeah, because I always wondered, like, he wasn't fighting before.
No, you don't need any actual experience to become a professional boxer. Like, but to become a professional MMA fighter, you need at least 5 amateur fights. You need at least 5 sanctioned amateur fights to become a professional. So that's why. So I'm at 8 right now. So I just want to get to 10. So I can round out my game to make sure I don't have any surprises when I go pro. But some people just go, straight. Like I could have went 5-0, just went straight to being pro.
Got you. So does your record transfer to pro or
no? It go back to 0-0.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's why
you're gonna be undefeated, man.
Yeah,
I'm
go right back.
See that? So tell me this: you're a fighter. You got banged up before. Mentally, you was like, yo, okay, yeah, I lost, but I'm pushed to be better. As we end things off and move things forward, what is your 5-step system or your whatever step system that you can give somebody to find their outlet, to kind of push hard in life, to kind of not forget their passion that they have or not forget the thing that they want to hold dear and to take it to the next level, kind of like how you're doing right now? Well, like from going back on your history, going back on what you've done, on the thoughts you had, the decisions that you made, what was your flow or steps that you can give somebody to guide them to making the same decision, to taking it serious and taking it to the next level?
I would say, again, you have to surround yourself with real people. Like I think that's gonna be the biggest motivator, is seeing other people that in the field you want to go into that are already at the level of success. So at my gym personally, we have Nico Price. He's already in the UFC. He's already fought in the top. Like he's already been a top 15 fighter for his weight class in the UFC. And so seeing him as a mentor and seeing where he's at and the amount of grueling work he's had to go to, I get to see like an actual layout of what it takes to be at that caliber. And I think if you're going to be no matter what you go into, if you're going to be doing it, you have to surround yourself or be around people who've already either gotten to there or gotten close to there, so you can know what kind of path you have to set for yourself ahead of time. Because you just kind of go into it blindly, it's not going to work. And there's a great saying I have, and that I've come across, and it's, you don't rise to the level of expectation, you fall to the level of your training. And so you don't rise to the level of your expectation, you fall to the level of your training. And so that's probably the biggest misconception I see people have about fighting, because everyone thinks that, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna see red, and guys can't handle it, I'm just gonna get mad, and I'm gonna put, every guy I know has that, like, their own, like, John Wick in their head, their own, like, like they're gonna be Jackie Chan, they're just gonna get so mad, they're just gonna Hulk out, and people can't handle it. But like, no, when you get in there and the adrenaline's done after the first 30 seconds, you're gonna get tired. And you're gonna meet your true self. You're gonna be breathing, like gasping for air. You're gonna be having that scratchy, like, when you breathe in cold air and you kind of get that almost like bleeding in the back of your throat. And you're just wheezing, and you're gonna find out who you really are in that moment. And that's gonna go back when you're in that state. You're just doing drills. You're just doing your basic 1-2s. You're doing your basic footwork. Your body's going on autopilot. You're not thinking about what it is that, how angry I am or how I need to win. Like, you're just thinking about, like, literally, you go streamline, just go blank, and you just go into an autopilot mode. And that's how it needs to be with everything you do, where when opportunity comes, it's not going to be like, oh, I'm just going to, like, have this, let's say for a singer, I'm just going to have this, like, grand talent come out of here. I'm just going to sing amazingly. You have to be prepared. You have to be trained. So if that open mic night happens and there's a recruiter in the crowd, you're not going to bust some freestyle out of your ass. Like, you're going to do what you've been training, what you've been rehearsing, what you've been practicing. And that's the best thing about anybody is, like, like what was it, like, luck happens when preparedness meets opportunity. I think that's what it is. Yeah. So the same thing.
And even the Bible says it, where it's like, all right, miracles happen, but miracles follow the work you've been putting in.
100%.
You created an environment, you created and put that energy around you by being consistent, however long you've been consistent.
100%.
And I like that you said that, because it's like when you're wheezing and you're tired, you fall back to your level of practice and you're on autopilot. So if you haven't been doing the thing that you're supposed to, so whenever you get tired, because, bro, there's a thing that I said where it's like, anybody can be 100% when they're 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
But people give themselves the excuse to be 0% when they're 75%. Because, I'm not 100%. They may not just give them my all. But your training and how consistent you've been can cause you, whenever you're 75%, it can cause you to be all of your 75%, because that's part of your training, to be your best, to have your top-notch form, top-notch footwork, top-notch in whatever it is that you're doing.
Exactly.
Bro, that's a mindset shift.
100%.
Now that's like, all right, in life, have you been learning? Have you been growing in life? Have you been reading? Have you been, like, I was just counseling some people, and it's like, I wouldn't have told them the things that I've known and the wisdom that I gave them to guide them and put them in the right direction if I didn't read the Bible, if I didn't have mentors, if I didn't have teachers that told and answered the questions that I had that they don't even know how to ask, but because I know them in their shoes, I know what they need by the little things that they say. That, bro, thank you, bro.
And that's 100% what going back to, is that you can't get that level of practice on your own. Like, you can't YouTube that practice. You have to surround yourself with people who have already gotten past that point, and look at, like, how they got there, and, like, what they did, and what kind of training regimen or practice that they were doing, to keep themselves prepared. And that's how you can emulate that and add that to your own, curriculum. And that's the same thing. Yeah.
Jesus, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that's good right there, bro. It. So is that it? Is it, like, what else to it than that?
I mean, that's it. Just putting in the work, man. Like, because again, you have to first, you got to find that person that's successful, right? Or a person who's close to success, whatever it is, and who's already put in the work. You see what they've done, and then you emulate that, or you encapsulate that for yourself. You do that same disciplined level of work, and then as long as you keep at it, and you just keep at it to where it's just like textbook to you, you can do all your sleeping. then you just wait for that. We wait for the opportunity. That's you wait for the moment. That's 100% what it comes down to. So like as long as you stay ready, like that's it. You know,
bro. The opportunity will come, man, bro.
I get a perfect example too. Like one of my fighter friends, he was on the Ultimate Fighter. That's the reality show competition after the UFC. He lost his first match in the Ultimate Fighter, and he was depressed for a bit, but he still kept training. And then it must have been, I think, either 2 weeks or maybe a month after they had done the last season of the show, they needed a substitute for a fight. Somebody pulled out, and they needed a replacement. And they called him. They're like, "Hey, we have a spot for you. You know, you want to be in the UFC? You got to show up in 2 weeks." And he just went in. He went in and got in the UFC, and like that, that's how he got his UFC contract. He's now an actual legit fighter in the UFC. Even though he lost in the show, he just stayed training.
I want to talk to him because I want to know his mindset on like, you lost, you was depressed, but what caused you to shift that? I want to talk to him. That's bro. That's nice.
Shout out to Landon Quinones, man. So he's dope.
Who?
Landon Quinones.
Landon Quinones.
Yeah,
that's fire. That's fire, bro. Bro, you dropped a lot of gems. You even changed my mindset and my understanding. You know, as a final question, you learned a lot of lessons. You've been around a lot of successful people that motivate you and push you to the next level. If you could say one thing, like how old are you right now?
I'm 29.
29. If you like, I'm 23. There could be somebody that's younger or in like earlier or younger than me in life. What would be the number one thing that you would want to resonate within them that you receive from somebody else?
It seems like a token of wisdom that I got.
Token of wisdom, yeah. What is that number one thing? I like it whenever somebody's thinking that long. Like I like that. I like that.
I'm trying to see because I want to make sure it's right. What should I put in? I'm trying to think how to properly phrase it.
Sometimes say it how it is and it's going to come out.
I mean, it's going to be cheesy saying, but basically is that, and it's going back to what he said before about the belt, is that champs aren't made in the ring. Champs are made when nobody's watching. And so it's the same thing about discipline and consistency. And like that's, again, what I heard from my coach, Coach Mike. Shout out to Coach Mike. It's just that if you're not putting in the work, you're not going to show out on stage. And it's, again, like you don't become champ when they raise your hand. You become a champ through the hours of training, through the grueling times, through the puking in the back of the gym, through like the 10-mile hikes, that you're going through, like all that practice, everything. And again, it goes for across all fields. Like you don't, like a doctor doesn't become a doctor when he walks past that stage. It's through all the MCAT testing, the 10-hour days of studying. It's the, God knows how many hours of clinical rotations of, dealing with patients that are probably bleeding on you, coughing on you, pooping on you, all that kind of stuff. All that just in residency and internship. That's when you become a doctor, not just, when at the ceremony when you get your pin or your stethoscope, I guess you could say. Yeah. So again,
that's dope. That's dope. I appreciate that, man. Definitely, man. You dropped a lot of good gems, and at the end of the day, my name is Olivier J. Darcis. I'm with my man, the champ, Blake. Yeah. Blake, yes sir. Put it up. Yeah. We're here helping you do to do life well and become a champion. Peace, man. Shout out. The bakery's open. Wait, before you go, make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out the video that you think is the best for you. Or is it check out the video and hit the subscribe button? Man, you know what I'm trying to do. Peace.